Coming up, it's election day, and our team is in Brownsville and in Edinburgh covering the latest election results for you. KVAQ TV starts now. This is our Election Day 2024 coverage for KVAQ TV. Live from the studio, I'm Amada Valdovinos. Today is Tuesday, March 5th. It is a busy day for candidates and voters across the U.S. This evening, we will be updating results for 8 races. Take a look at your screen. We'll be live streaming results for President, U.S. Senator, U.S. Representative for District 34, U.S. Representative for District 15, District Judge 332 Judicial District, Justice of the Peace Precinct Number 2, Place 1, Sheriff for Hidalgo County, and Sheriff for Cameron County. Now, let's check in with our reporter in Brownsville. Monica Chavez is live with early voting results for Cameron County. Monica, what's Election Day like in Brownsville?
Hi, Amada. As you can see, we're here at the Cameron County Courthouse, where location voting is coming to an end. But ballots keep coming in, as you can see over there. Let's take a look at the latest results. So for Democratic president race, we have Biden in the lead with 6,939 votes. Coming in second is Mando Perez Cerrato with 1,189 votes. For the Democratic U.S. Senator race, we have Gutierrez in the lead with 3,260 votes. Coming in second is Allred with 2,307 votes. Then we have for the Democratic United States race, Representative District 34, Vicente Gonzalez in the lead with no competitors and 9,800 votes. For the Democratic Sheriff race in the lead with 4,250 votes, we have Eric Garza. And in second place is Mari Trevino with 3,080 votes. And then for the Republican president race, we have Donald Trump in the lead with 6,812 votes. In second place, we have Nikki Haley with 867 votes. For the Republican U.S. Senator race, we have Ted Cruz in the lead with 6,932 votes. In second place, we have Rufus Lopez with 519 votes. Republican U.S. Representative for District 34 race, we have Mayra Flores in the lead with 6,611 votes. In second place, Laura Cisneros with 636 votes. For the Republican Sheriff race, we have Jimmy Manrique with no competitors and received 6,200 votes. That's what we have right now as our early voting results.
Thank you, Monica. Let's turn it over to our team in Edinburgh, Andrea Flores. Andrea, we're learning voting lines in Brownsville are long. What's happening in Edinburgh?
Yes, Amala. So I'm right here at the Hidalgo County Clerk's office. We're still pretty busy right now. There are a lot of ballots coming in. And I was just outside where we were told that there is no phones allowed near the site. But we have some results right now. So for early voting, we have, for the Democratic Party, we have incumbent Joe Biden with 80%, with 64% early voting. And also we have the Republican Party with Donald Trump with 8,594 votes. We also have the Democrats, for the U.S. Senator Democratic Party, we have Roland Gutierrez with 30% early voting. We also have from the Republican Party, incumbent Ted Cruz with 715 votes. For U.S. Representative 15 for the Republican Party, we have Monica de la Cruz with 6,095 votes, early voting. And we have Michelle Vallejo with 72% early voting. That's all the results that we have right here. It's still pretty busy, so we'll come back with some results later on.
Thank you, Andrea. KVAQ-TV spoke to a few candidates to ask about some hard-hitting issues they hope to change. Here's the report.
When we invest in education, it's not a freebie. I know that you have some people out there that say, "Oh, you're giving something away." We're not giving anything away. We're investing in American human capital. Taking care of our veterans, I think, is also very important for our region. I continue to fight for deported veterans. I have a bill called Repatriate Our Patriots Act. I can't think of anything more shameful than to deport an American veteran who wore a uniform and fought for our freedom. And I'll never stop fighting for veterans. Taking care of our seniors is very important. When you have a Congress that's saying, well, we want to fund that periodically, that scares our older generation to death, because they don't want to have to rely on whether Congress is going to fund their Social Security or not. This is something that they've paid into their entire lives, and we need to make sure that they get compensated. Taking care of our teachers is very important to me. You have to choose between your teacher retirement or your Social Security. I find that horrifically unfair, because you paid into both and you should get compensated from both. We continue to fight to bring resources to build better bridges and highways. We have a lot of drainage problems in South Texas that I'm addressing through some of this federal infrastructure funding. I think it's important, especially for young women, is women's right to choose. I'm a Catholic, and I tell you, as a Catholic, I don't promote abortion. I don't think anyone does, but I think that it should be safe and legal and available for emergencies. I think that a young woman should have that right to choose. And I don't believe government should be getting involved in your health care.
I want to solve issues for everyone in the district. I want to make us an economic powerhouse. I want meaningful jobs. I want our students, when they graduate, to stay here. I want those opportunities to be here for our kids, our graduates. I want to make our communities safer and our families stronger. I want our future generations to make the area where they have a chance to achieve the things I've achieved. I want to bring us into an area of industry and economics that is unmatched. You know, we've got one of the best ports in Brownsville, but one of the problems that I see as we have industries and factories coming into Texas, they're usually placed between San Antonio and Austin, San Antonio, Houston, Houston, Dallas. What about us down here? I think I'll have a little leverage. I can meet with the governor and talk to him about, hey, bring us the industries down here. We have to address a very, very, very important issue, and that is the water problem. There's not enough, I believe, groundwater. At the federal level, we can work on resolving the issue there. In just this year alone, 2024, we are going to suffer about a $993 million economic downturn in our agricultural industry. That water is needed for these industries and these companies to come in.
Is the border issue, and that of securing our borders. Right now, we don't have too many people crossing over illegally because Texas has taken that into their hands, but we need something in writing so that Texas doesn't have to do that. The issue that we have with water right now, you know, Mexico owes us water. We just saw recently with the closing of that plant in Santa Rosa and how that is affecting the community, and how many people, lots of drivers are going to be losing their jobs because of that. We need to do something about that, because it is affecting our economy in this side of the border. I know that what the decisions and the votes that I make affects us as a nation, but I must always put our community first. our district first and ask myself that question. If the way I vote today in any way, shape, or form will harm the people in my district, then I will vote against it.
Looking into programs for people that may have mental health issues, looking into programs for people that may have drug addiction issues, rehabilitative programs. I think that we need to kind of increase our focus on, because a lot of the crimes that I've noticed that are happening within our county are related to mental health or some sort of addiction. So that would be my main focus, would be looking into programs to see how we can rehabilitate people as opposed to just automatic punishment. In my career, I've been able to advocate for people. I've fought for the rights of people on the defense, and so I've seen some of the issues that people go through when judges make decisions that impact their lives. And I truly believe that my experience would be useful in the 332nd. And I can use that experience and make decisions that I believe would be just, that would be made with compassion, and that I can make a difference in the 332nd District Court.
The chaos of our border is our major issue because it touches every part of this district. I think, why did he take 3 years to come to see the border? I mean, Trump's been coming here almost when he has the chance to visit, but it took Biden 3 years to come see the border. I plan to modernize the JP court, starting with upgrading our electronic filing and court system. I would like our residents to ability to pay to the service to the community, and beautification and quality of life to volunteers opportunity. I think it's time for my generation to have a seat at the table, and I want to be the new voice for women and young people, and to ensure that everyone's treated fairly. And I value honesty and genuine care, and that's what I want to bring to the district.
You just heard from the candidates. Now let's hear from a few potential voters about what they'd like to see in a candidate and what changes they hope to see.
Hey guys, Jared here. We're here at the voting station at UTRGV. We're going to be asking some students who have voted today. Let's see what they have to say. I want to ask you, what do you have to say to students who are not sure about voting? What do you have to say to them?
Well, I think voting is a very good opportunity to not just do your right, but also speak up and be able to have an influence on the decisions that are being made in these following days.
What do you look for in a candidate whenever you go vote?
I think somebody that has a good plan and that takes everybody into consideration, as much as whoever's more inclusive and more clear about their vision. I think very good prospect.
They are in tune with the community, or not in tune with them, but it's not just like they're in for the money. They also prioritize the people.
I typically try to find someone whose policy is great, lets people live their lives. I really don't like when people get frustrated over things that aren't important. There's very clear issues that we have going on across the globe, domestically as well. And when you're concerned about just the way people live their lives instead of the actual concerns that are happening in the world, then you are very clearly not the candidate for me.
On a state, local, national level, whatever level, what sort of changes would you want to see when you do go vote and the election finishes?
Better education system.
Probably abortions, but I feel like that's more at a national level. Abortions then, yeah.
Being able to vote with just a driver's license instead of needing to register to vote. I think having a voting ID card can kind of discriminate against certain people to vote.
Thank you so much. Anything else that you want to say to the camera, to young voters, student voters, any type of people that want to vote, or to just people in general?
It would just be, once again, to encourage you guys and take action as soon as possible.
Continue to go vote, and hopefully things will get better.
Thank you so much. Anything else you want to say?
No, just have a good day.
Thank you guys so much for answering our questions today. This was Jared with KVAQ TV, back on the street. Thank you.
Coming up, we will speak with political science professor about the ongoing election results. We'll be back in 10 minutes. And we're back. We're joined by political science assistant Professor Andrew Smith. Professor, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to begin with the first question. What can you tell us about the primary election day so far?
Well, for starters, I think it'd be good if the viewers knew what the primary elections were. So what voters are doing in this election is they are picking the major parties' candidates for the November general election. So those voting in the Democratic primary, of course, choosing who the Democrats will run in November, Republicans, same concept. So primary elections so far, there are, of course, a ton of very important races on the ballot, most notably the president. So far, presidential election going about as one would expect. Trump is crushing all Republican nominees. Biden, same with Democrats. So far, no major surprises.
And now, Professor, what are the differences between this year's elections in comparison to last year?
So 2022 was a midterm election, so the president was not being chosen. This year, the president is being chosen. And in comparison to 2020, the difference is that, number one, we have something resembling normalcy with regards to voting. We're not dealing with the massive lines due to social distancing, etc. But more than that, who the incumbent, so the current president is, and who the challenger is, are flipped. This time around, assuming everything holds, Donald Trump this time will be the challenger as opposed to the incumbent, and President Biden, of course, will be the incumbent rather than the challenger.
And now, for my last question, Professor, what can you tell us about the results so far that we've been seeing, from our reporters in Brownsville and in Hidalgo County?
So really no surprises so far. Former President Trump is leading all comers. Current President Biden is winning handsomely. But that's also those are also one of the few races for which statewide most of the precincts have actually reported. A lot of the local races, either the ballots are only just now starting to be turned in, or very few precincts have reported. So it's still one of those long nights. In all likelihood, we won't have final results until tomorrow morning. But as it stands now, not really any surprises, just some races for the viewers to kind of look out for. Obviously the presidency, but also the U.S. Senate race. Ted Cruz right now winning the Republican primary going away. Meanwhile, Colin Allred has the lead for the Democratic nomination. There are also two U.S. House races, one in the Hidalgo County area, another in the Cameron County area. So far, it's in Hidalgo County shaping up to be a rematch of 2022 between Monica de la Cruz, the Republican incumbent, and if things hold now, Michelle Vallejo, the Democratic nominee. So those are kind of the main elections right now. And so far, they're going about what one would expect.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And we'll be back in 5 minutes. back with more Election Day coverage. Our reporter Monica Chavez is in Brownsville with updated results. Monica, what are the updates so far?
Hello? Okay. So results as in 8:35 for the Democrat with 10 out of 73 precincts and a voter turnout of 5.62% for the Democratic Party. We have Democratic president race. We have Biden in the lead with 7,576 votes. In second place is Mando Perez Cerrato with 1,270 votes. For the Democratic U.S. Senator race, we have Roland Gutierrez in the lead with 3,538 votes. In second place, we have Allred with 2,503 votes. For the Democratic U.S. Representative District 34 race, with no competitor, we have Vicente Gonzalez with 10,680 votes. And for the Democratic sheriff race, in the lead, we have Garza with 4,632 votes. In second place is Manny Trevino with 3,292 votes. And for the Republican race, we still don't have the latest results. That's what we have.
Thank you, Monica. Now let's go ahead and move on to our reporter in Hidalgo County. Andrea, what can you tell us so far?
Okay, so right now it's pretty busy, Amala, as you can see behind me. We're still coming in with a lot of ballots and we don't have any updated results, but I'll restate what I have so far. So for the Democratic Party, we have Joe Biden with 64% of the early voting and a far second of 17%, I'm sorry, of Armando Perez Cerrato. So we also have the U.S. Senate, and for the Republican Party, we have Donald Trump with 87% of the early voting and a far second of Nikki Haley with 10%. So now for the U.S. Senator Republican Party, we have incumbent Ted Cruz with 90% of the early voting, And for the Democratic Party, we have Roland Gutierrez with 30% of the early voting and a close second of Mark Gonzalez with 28% of the early voting. For the District 15 U.S. Representative Democratic Party, we have Michelle Vallejo with 72% of the early voting. And for the Republican Party, we have Monica de la Cruz with 90% of early voting. That's it. That's all the information that we have right now, but we'll come back. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. That wraps up our coverage this evening. For official election results, visit our social media and website at KVAQ TV. Thank you for joining us. Peace up.